Hi, my name is Emma Yoakum and this is Remade by Emma. Welcome to my channel where I knit, sew, and DIY, often using secondhand materials. Today is a knitting podcast and we're talking about all of my finished objects, whips, and acquisitions. I have a few of each of those today. I am under a time crunch because I have a 4-month-old baby and she is currently taking a nap, so we shall see how quick this video goes, or if we have to take pauses. Potentially that will happen, so let's just get started. My first finished object are these cute tiny little baby pants. Like I mentioned, I have a little baby girl, so I made her these pants. They were supposed to be a Christmas gift, but they got a little delayed. I actually finished them on New Year's Eve and they're so adorable. I imagine they're incredibly comfy for her too, and it's winter. We live in a very cold climate, so I think these are really good for this time of year, and I am honestly tempted to make her another pair of this. So I did not follow a pattern. I am a seamstress along with being a knitter. Actually, I am a more advanced and knowledgeable seamstress than I am a knitter. I actually studied sewing and pattern making in college. I'm pretty knowledgeable about clothing construction, though less so about children's clothing construction, just because I studied women's clothing construction. All that to say, I kind of made these in the mind of a seamstress, because I just created like flat pant panels, and then I sewed it up the inseam and then on the crotch seam, and then I picked it up with my circular knitting needles and did like a little rib waistband, did a little I-cord, and actually these are obviously still hand knit, but I actually knit the pant panels on my knitting machine. I've mentioned it in the last few videos, but I have the Brother KX350. I'm still very new at it. I've only finished 2 projects on it, this being one of them. It was a really fast project because I knit the panels on the knitting machine. And yeah, I'm considering making her some more pairs of pants like these. This yarn is a superwash merino that I got at Hobby Lobby, which is a US store. It's a really cute color. I have a lot more of this yarn, and I'm considering making her like a matching sweater or cardigan to go with it. And actually she does need some more sweaters probably, so I think that would probably be a good idea. I have the exact same yarn but in a different colorway. It's a hand-dyed yarn, by the way. I have it in a different colorway that's more like blue and green. It's currently being used for something else that I was making for myself, but I have some extra yarn, plus I potentially will frog that other item. Like I said, it's a super wash, which was necessary because she's a baby. And I have washed it twice, I believe, and it obviously isn't extremely felted, but I do feel like it got a little fuzzy. And it almost looks like there's some felting, but it's not really felted. It's just gotten kind of fuzzy, which I don't mind. It doesn't look as clean and sleek, but I feel like it's just making it more warm and cozy. And I do appreciate that they are super washed because she's a baby. And I'm really not, I don't think I would want super wash things for my own wardrobe. I do not mind for her. I think it's just fine, and these seem so cozy. I would really love to make myself some knit pants someday, like with the knitting machine, so it's a lot faster, but I just need to come across the right material. Maybe they should be superwash, but we'll see. Maybe in a while I will do something like that. So that was my first finished object. My next finished object is a sewing project. Like I said, I was a seamstress before I, came into the knitting community. I talked about this in my previous knitting podcast, but basically I made these 2 stockings for me and my husband for Christmas last year, but we had a baby this year, so she needed a stocking. And I actually just ended up making 2 more because I was already in the process of making one, and I was like, let's just do this because we do plan on having more children someday. And I did not actually make this stocking in time for Christmas. I started it after Christmas, so she did not have a stocking for Christmas this year, which was so disappointing. So because of that, I decided to just make 2 because when we have another child, I imagine it will be difficult for me to get around to making a stocking for them too. So let's just make it simpler and already make 2 since we're in the process. So this one is for her. So darling, so cute. And then this one is for our next baby. It does look a little bit girly to me because of like the pink and this like reddish. Red is kind of leaning more pink too, just because of the other pink. Anyway, so I don't know if this would be for a boy. Like maybe I'll swap with him and give him mine instead. But if it's a girl, for sure this would be hers. I actually adore this one. It's so cute. And then like I was mentioning this in the last knitting podcast, but all of these 3 are double-sided just because it's clean looking. But this one was such like a complicated pattern, and I just really did not have the patience for it, so I put just a plain solid fabric on the back. But like it's only ever going to hang this way anyway, so like what's the big deal? And honestly, like again, for more children down the line, like I like to have these different quilted patterns with the same, the same sort of like color schemes. I imagine for future children, I really won't have much time to do too much quilting, so I might just do this again where I like just create the quilted bit for the front, but do solid for the back, and I think that is okay. These are my second finished objects. I guess I kind of have 2 works in progress, but really kind of only one. Let me show you. I am still working on my Daydreamer cardigan. It is coming along very well. We're getting there. We are getting there. So in the last podcast episode, I had split for sleeves and I had knit most of the body. So since then, I finished the body. I knit the waistband or hem or something like that. And I've started to realize that I like to do some of those more finishing details before getting the majority of the sweater done, just because I feel like the finishing details are actually kind of difficult. So while I have like steam in me, I like to get those done first, so that once I've been working on this project for so long and I have a little less motivation, I'm just doing the sleeves. And there's not like that hard, more difficult things to finish up, like the double knit button band or the collar and stuff like that. So I did those finishing details, the hem, the button band, the collar, and I have picked up one of the sleeves. It's supposed to be about like 4 inches longer, and then I will start doing the ribbing. So that's good. It looks so funky right now because it just needs to be blocked, and it will, you know, spread out a little bit. Anyway, so I have to finish that sleeve, and then I have the last sleeve, and then I just have to sew on buttons and block it. And I'm so excited to have this done just because I've had it for a while. I think I started knitting it in October, probably, or actually it was probably more like November, but it just feels like it's been a while, and I just want to have it, especially like it's cold right now, and I just want to have nice sweaters. I have a lot of thrifted sweaters and a few hand knit sweaters, but I don't love all of my hand knit sweaters. So my memory card got full and my daughter woke up. So I don't know exactly where I stopped talking, but basically I just want to get this done as soon as possible. I really want to wear it. It's just going to be such a nice basic to have in my wardrobe. I wanted to talk about the pattern a little bit because I don't know if I love it. This pattern is by Kika. I've never made one of her patterns before, so this is my first time doing her patterns. But generally I haven't done a whole lot of knitting patterns other than petite knit. I've done a few of hers. I recently bought a pattern by Sari Nordlund, but I haven't made it yet. I've looked at some other patterns, but they've been free. Anyways, I don't know if it's just this pattern, which is the Daydreamer Cardigan, by the way, or if it's Kika's way of writing patterns, but she definitely didn't hold your hand for some of the parts. Generally speaking, like, the body is extremely simple to knit and straightforward. The part that I have gripes about is the button bands. So they're double knit button bands, which I've never done before, but it was fairly easy. I mean, maybe not easy, but not too difficult, just time consuming. The thing that frustrated me was the buttonholes. One, she doesn't explain the placement of the buttonholes very well, and so I kind of had to figure it out on my own, which is not the biggest deal because I am a seamstress, so I know a lot about placing buttons and buttonholes. The thing that is tricky is the buttonhole that is on the collar. I don't mean to be nitpicky. I don't think that Kika is very good at explaining the button thing, which is why she doesn't really explain it, and it's also why the pattern is not meant for buttonholes. Her original example of the cardigan has snap buttons so that you don't have to do buttonholes. But I do not want snap buttons. I want real buttons. And so I kind of had to figure it out on my own. She explains this vertical buttonhole not very well. I still had to look up a tutorial on how to do it, but it's fine. I actually found a really good tutorial that teaches you to carry the yarn so that you don't have to use 2 yarns. That really only will make sense if you've done a double knit buttonhole. Maybe I will link that tutorial down below. It's just a really quick TikTok. It was very helpful, and I liked the result a lot, but there is a buttonhole on the collar that she does not even tell you how to do. She tells you how to do the ones on the double knit button band, but not on the collar. So I had to completely just figure this out on my own, which is fine. I did it, but I did have to knit this collar 3 times, I believe, because at first I was thinking that I would do a vertical button band or buttonhole like the other ones. So I tried that twice and it was weird. So then I went back and instead I did a horizontal buttonhole. But it's just weird because, again, she doesn't explain the placement of the buttonholes. So, like, I figured out how to evenly space the ones on the button band, but now these two are farther apart than these ones are, which is frustrating to me. Like, I really want it to be as close as possible because, I mean, I don't think it's enough that you'll notice, but yeah. It's a little frustrating. So, I don't know, maybe it's just really difficult to explain that in a pattern, but it doesn't seem like it would be that difficult to me because it seems like her cardigans, well, I don't know. Okay, I've never written a cardigan knitting pattern before, so I don't want to be too harsh, but yeah, she definitely didn't hold your hand for that part, so keep that in mind if you're interested in making this cardigan. It's not meant to have real buttons and buttonholes. She made it to have snap buttons, which if that's what you want, that's fine, but that's not what I wanted. So that part was frustrating, just figuring out the buttons and buttonholes. So, and actually, like, knitting the actual buttonholes was not that difficult. It was just the placement of it. And I just feel like she could have explained it better. Well, other than the buttonholes being a modification, I have made another modification, which is just that the collar is shorter. So she tells you to knit like 4 inches of ribbing and then fold it over. I only did 3, or maybe even less than 3, just because I don't want it to be a really big thick collar, and I think it looks perfect this way. I got frustrated after the buttonhole situation. Also, you can probably hear my baby kind of just commenting to herself. Maybe not. I got kind of frustrated after the buttonhole fiasco, and it made me think maybe I don't even want this cardigan. Do I even like it? So I think another thing that's making me feel weird about it is that it looks weird and long right now. Long and skinny. But it just needs blocking and to stretch out just a little bit. It'll be so easy to get it to be the shape that I want it to be. So yeah, that was an overreaction, but I'm excited now. I think it's gonna be nice. I can't wait to finish the sleeve. I am hoping that by the next podcast, this cardigan is done and complete. I do think that that is attainable. It's coming along. We're almost done, and I can't wait to just be done with it. It's not been the worst pattern. Again, the body was very simple and easy, and I might make more of these cardigans, especially if I end up liking the fit of this one, but I do think I will kind of do my own thing. Okay, my second work in progress, which is not really entirely a work in progress. I have been, in my videos, I have been talking about these purple yarns. So this one's like wound up together. It's the 2 yarns that are reclaimed yarns from some purple sweaters, and then I have this mohair that I'm pairing along with it. If you're interested in hearing more about the yarns, go watch my winter knitting plans video because I talk a lot about it in that. Anyways, I'm making a purple cardigan, and basically I haven't cast on, but I'm still swatching. I'm not following a pattern, I'm freehanding it, which is why I'm kind of taking my time and swatching and planning it. Again, I talk a lot about the idea for this purple cardigan in my winter knitting plans video, so go and watch that. Basically, I just created some more swatches to kind of help me in the planning process. So I just created this just like stockinette swatch. I don't know if that's what you call it, but just like knit and purl swatch, because this is what the majority of it is going to be knit in. And then it's going to have some textured knitting along the front. It's going to be a V-neck cardigan. So I was just kind of toying around with some textured stitches in a gauge swatch just to see how I liked it, and I think this is what I'm gonna go with. I'm still not entirely sure. It's kind of hard to tell because it's purple and really dark, but yeah, it turned out good. I think that this is the pattern that I'm going to use for the front, and I was going to do something different for the sleeve cables, but I think I'm going to do the same for the sleeve cables just to make it very cohesive. So yeah, still swatching, and this was going to be my next whip, but I just want to really plan it out because it has mohair and it is not going to be easy to frog. Bless you. I just really want to really nail down a plan for the cardigan before getting started on it, because I really don't want to have to frog it at some point, and I'm pretty confident in my pattern writing skills. I'm going to just kind of compile some techniques that I've learned through knitting, and hopefully it turns out good, but I just really want to put in some good planning because I'm very excited about it. I really look at the drape is really nice. You probably can't tell unless you're feeling it, but it's got really nice drape. It's a very pretty color. I am excited about the design, so I just want to really put in a lot of work to make it nice, and I kind of want to write a pattern before starting just so that I have a very clear plan. So yeah, still swatching, still figuring out the details, but I will eventually be casting it on. I do think I'm going to cast something else on in between the Daydreamer cardigan and this purple cardigan, just so it's not pressured and to have something easy to work on simultaneously. I forgot to talk about what I'm wearing today. This is a hand knit vest. Oh my goodness, she's getting chatty. This is a hand knit vest, but not hand knit by me. I got it at the thrift store, but I can tell it's hand knit. Anyways, if you watched my winter knitting plans video, this is the vest that has inspired me to knit a gray vest to add to my wardrobe, a gray V-neck vest. It will not be exactly like this. This is very boxy and oversized, which I like, but I want something a little different. I think the gray vest is what I will probably be casting on next. She's getting very chatty, so I gotta wrap this up. I just have an acquisition to share. So I like to get my yarns secondhand most of the time because I love sustainability, and usually secondhand yarns are cheaper too, so it helps my bank account a little bit. Someone was getting very chatty, so I'm multitasking now. With that in mind, I keep my eye on eBay a lot of the times just to see if yarns that I enjoy show up on there and if I can get them for a deal plus secondhand. Anyways, I recently got some mohair. It's the same as that purple mohair that I'm using. It's Knitting for Olive. This is in the color Dusty Banana, and I got this because I have been really wanting to make a yellow sweater at some point. Still not exactly sure what that yellow sweater will be. I imagine another cardigan. I'm kind of on a cardigan train right now. So yeah, this is very banana colored, which is not bad, but it's leaning kind of tan, like it's a yellow tan, and I want it to be a little more yellow. So I think whatever I end up pairing it with will be slightly more yellow, but still a very light yellow. Anyways, I think I got 6 of these, 6 or 7. I could pull it out, but I'm pretty sure it was 6. So again, I don't know what I'm going to knit with this, and it will probably not be until the spring or the summer potentially. But yeah, I've been really wanting to knit something yellow, so I got that. What I have in mind right now for it is potentially another Dagmar jacket, though I think I would make some modifications to the cable so it's not exactly the same, and also to the neckline, because the Dagmar jacket neckline is very high. I can never button the top button, and I feel like I would like to, so that's one option. I'll put a picture of like a yellow cable knit cardigan that has inspired me, and that's why I'm thinking of it. Another one I'm thinking of that would be cute is the Levitate wrap, but I was just looking at the yarn recommendations, and it doesn't necessarily recommend a mohair, so I don't know if I'll be doing that, but that would be cute in yellow. So I'll probably end up doing like a cable knit cardigan. We'll see. So anyways, that's my acquisition. And that's the video for the day. That's the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me know what it is that you are working on. Also, if you've made it this far, please subscribe to my channel and like my video. I post twice a week right now, and I'm hoping to keep that up. I would love any support I can get from you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.